Hey stats, here are your notes for section 5. We're finally on to the third part, which is going to be the last part that we have in this section. The assumptions that we need to make have been the same for all two parts previous to this. Samples are independent, they're small, which means they're less than or equal to 30, and they are normally distributed. The difference here when we use case 2 is that the populations are going to appear to have unequal variances. So what that means for us in our preliminary F-test is that we're going to reject our equality of the two population variances. So if you get the reject option in your preliminary test, you've got to use the process that we're going to go through today. So you have a new test stat formula to take a look at. These are for your small independent samples and equal variances. Notice the numerator is the same as what we've been dealing with, except in the denominator we don't have s sub p. Now we're back to s sub 1 squared and s sub 2 squared. So you're using your original variances here. Or if you're given your square roots, you got to square them and then move on. So the difference on this one is that your degree of freedom is given or determined by whichever one is the smallest one. So you've got to take your number in population 1 and subtract 1, and then your number in population 2 and subtract 1, and then whichever value is the smallest one, that's what you're going to use for your degree of freedom. So we're going to run through this example. It looks very similar to the one that we did in part 1, except our original claim now is that the mean amount of nicotine in the filtered cigarettes is less than the mean amount in the non-filtered cigarettes. So here's our chart again with your n, your x bar, and your s sub 1 values. And we are going to use your preliminary F-test to determine whether we use case 1 or case 2. So note to yourself that the samples are small, that we don't know the original standard deviation, and then our original claim is that my filtered is less than my non-filtered. So based on that, we need to find our test statistic for your F-test, and that's going to be taking 3.7 squared and dividing it by 1.7 squared. So if you square each of those and divide them, you should get a test stat of 4.7370. We need to compare that to our critical value. So we note that we have an alpha value of 0.05. This is going to be a two-tailed F-test with a degree of freedom of 20 and 7. Okay, so our critical value is going to be 4.4667. All right, so now that we found your critical value, we need to figure out where that test stat falls within our shaded or non-shaded region. So comparing your 4.7370 and our 4.4667, we are going to reject your null hypothesis of equal variances because it falls within our shaded region, which means since we're rejecting our F-test, we need to then test this case using case 2, so using our new test stat. So we're going to test the claim that's in our original problem is that the mean 1 is less than mean 2, which since this one doesn't have the equality, this becomes our alternative hypothesis, and then you'll see in our conclusion that I go back to your null hypothesis, which is going to have the equality part in it. So we need to first find your test stat in order to test the claim. So there again is your original formula. You see here that everything is plugged in from our chart before, so x sub 1, so 13.3 minus x sub 2 is 24.0. We don't know the population mean, so going back to the very first section of this chapter, we put in 0 for that. You'll notice that I squared 3.7 and put it over 21 and then squared 1.7 squared and divided it by 8. So doing all of those calculations, hopefully we get the value of negative 10.630. And again, remember to round to 3 decimal places because we are using your t-test. Okay, so now we have to find your critical value so we have something to compare your test stat with. So again, we're going to use our t-chart to do that because we're dealing with small values. Remember that we use alpha at 0.05. This is going to be a one-tailed test because we're dealing with less than, and again, since we're dealing with less than, it's going to be on the left side. My degree of freedom is going to be 7 because that's the smaller of your 21 minus 1 and your 8 minus 1. So using all of those things, we find that I have a critical value of negative 1.895. So based on that, we draw our conclusion where the test stat is in comparison to our critical value, and we are going to reject the null hypothesis that mean sub 1 is greater than or equal to mean sub 2. So notice here that my null hypothesis was the opposite of my alternative because my alternative didn't have, or my original claim didn't have that equality in it. So that's it. That's what you do. You just have to remember now that you're not finding S sub p. You're going back to your standard deviations that are given to you in the original problem. So that's the last part of section 8.5, and I will see you next time.